I've been curious about this lens, the Canon 28-70 F2.0 L, for 6 or 7 or 8 years. So a while back I rented one for a week. Shortly thereafter I purchased one, on credit, and I'll be making payments until I'm 209. I feel like all the videos I watched about this lens got it kind of wrong, which is why I feel like I have something to add, potentially, to the discussion. Because I was not impressed with the first images I shot with this lens, whereas all my previous RFL lens purchases, okay, not a huge list, granted, but I was blown away by the quality of the images, right from the very beginning. This one just left me with a big old question mark on my face. Or I don't know, maybe I always have a question mark on my face. I'll run down the list of Canon RFL lenses that I've purchased previously, which again blew me away upon first use. 50mm 1.2, such a huge improvement over the EF 50mm 1.2. To me at least, this is subjective to some degree. The 70-200 2.8 also blew me away compared to the EF version I used to own. All the EF versions were and are very good though, but the RF is noticeably better. Again, to me at least. I have purchased other RF lenses, the non-L, non-luxury lenses that didn't blow me away, but that's fine, they're cheaper, and they're fine. No complaints really, other than their over-reliance on software corrections. I'm not a fan of that, but okay. The 28-70 2.0, my first time using it, which were shots of my cat on the balcony. A shot I've taken like 1,000 times before with every lens imaginable. Well, I couldn't help but feel that it looked worse than, for example, that 50mm 1.2, noticeably worse, and sadly kind of more generic than even some of my cheaper lenses. The Sigma Art 35mm, for example. I'm somewhere in the trees over on the left. I couldn't spot me, but I'm in there somewhere. One thing I did like about it right away is how well the rendering matched my RF 50mm 1.2, in that I could switch between the two and there was a strong feeling of continuity. Because usually that RF 50mm 1.2, while absolutely amazing, kind of feels like it comes from a different planet than all my other lenses. I gather from osmosis that the 50 probably also matches the RF 85mm 1.2 L pretty well, and that one is also on my list to own eventually. It's just a lower priority item on that list. But I'm not saying this is a bad lens. This is not a bad lens. This is a very good lens. I just had the wrong expectations, and I needed more time with the thing. Something else I appreciated about this lens immediately, in fact it's a big part of why I wanted to own it so much. These RFL lenses, I find, are special in that you can shoot from a distance, wide open, and still get a nearly perfect hit rate. Whereas cheaper lenses can potentially surpass this lens in terms of sheer subjective beauty, close up. Again, that's just my opinion, but as you back away, that kind of falls apart. Even the expensive lenses of yesteryear suffer from this problem. Not telephoto lenses, but medium to wide-angle lenses. As you back away, you have to stop down. I don't shoot absolutely everything wide open, but I do like to have the option, because constantly stopping down as I back away and opening back up as I get close gets extremely old. It's a lot of extra work. At a wedding, for example. But the reviews really failed me. Osmosis failed me, but thankfully I had only rented it, so no harm done. But I have a suggestion if you're considering this lens. Actually, no, I implore you, don't buy this thing blind. Rent it first. That week I rented it was an unusually busy week of photo shoots for me, and kind of a crazy week in my personal life as well. It's a long story, but that lens got used constantly, and by the time I had to send it back, I had really come to see the value of the thing, both in my work and in my personal life, documenting my family and so forth. particularly once I didn't have it anymore. I had to go back to the inconvenience of primes, and I noticed it was kind of a shocking transition back. Big old dose of reality smacking me in the face. This lens is very versatile and very convenient. Well, let's not get carried away. It's not very convenient because it's absurdly heavy. That is something the internet got absolutely right. Everyone mentioned the size and weight, and I still found myself caught off guard. I sweat more, I ache more, lugging this thing around. I decided to ditch my battery grip, which helps a little, but good lord, after a few hours of carrying this around, I am hurting. But it's more doable than carrying around 3 or 4 primes. Right? Yes, I would say so. That was a goal for me in owning this lens. In certain situations, not portraits, but most other situations, I want the convenience of bringing just one lens, even if it's heavy as crap. It still works out to be more convenient for me. But quality-wise too, they say it's like having 3 or 4 primes. That's what I'd always heard. I guess I kind of bought into it too. Though I wondered how an F2.0 maximum aperture would get us into prime territory. And I got my answer. It doesn't. It's not like having 3 or 4 prime lenses. Not even close at all in any sense. It's not as sharp as a prime. It's not as beautiful and dreamy as a prime. If you're looking for shallow depth of field, which I think is probably very likely if you're looking to get a prime, you can spend like $35 US on a vintage manual focus lens and get a softer out of focus background or foreground. Make it $80 or $100, and now you've got autofocus too. But it's important to note, this is the closest you're probably ever going to get to a prime in a zoom lens, so that's something. At f2, no, it's not a low light monster in quotes, or beast in even more quotes. The quotation marks themselves are actually rolling their eyes. What's the other term? Workhorse. Actually, it kind of is that, I guess. I mean, I don't know how it relates to horses exactly. I guess I tend to think of things more in terms of armadillos and beavers. But sure, if I understand the term correctly, yes, that's what it is. So the internet got that right. Here's another thing about it that everyone gets absolutely right. If you're considering this lens, you already know this to be true. But I'll just reiterate, holy crap is this thing expensive. Shockingly expensive. After tax, I paid $3,658.17 US. That plus the $150 something I spent to rent the thing in the first place, and then I spent another $300-ish on gigantic 95mm ND filters. And that was the price after a pretty good discount. I used my own affiliate link from a video I did a while back. I really wanted the FREEWELL filters, but they were too expensive, so I got K&F CONCEPT. But they're very good. I will leave that affiliate link once again in the description. But this video's not sponsored. I don't care. Don't buy anything on my account. It's just if you're looking for a filter, it's a pretty good discount. When I rented the lens, I noticed right away, in comparison to my 50mm 1.2, that the images lacked a bit of sharpness. There was a hint of ghosting. There was some contrast issues. Noticing this required zooming way in. I was specifically looking for it. Zoom in on 1.2 images shot on my 50mm, and they are incredibly sharp where you place your focus. Zoom in on the 2.0 images shot on this lens, and they're pretty sharp, sharper than an EF lens, sharper than my old EF 24-70 2.8 L, but not as sharp as the 50. I mean, it's subtle, but it is noticeable. I do think you'll notice if you have both those lenses. It was a rental lens, and I actually thought that maybe it was an issue with that specific lens, but then when I bought the lens, unfortunately, I saw the same issue. But that's just evidently how the lens shoots, and I've gotten over it. But yes, absolutely, I came to love this lens and rely on this lens. I am extremely happy with my purchase, but the internet really set me up for failure on this one. Hey, that's my car at the top middle. And that parking lot on the right is where the trail starts, but there was no room for me, so... no, this isn't as good as a bag of primes, but it's 80% as good, and that's incredible, and probably the best you're ever going to see in your lifetime, optically speaking. Digital fakery, I can't speak to that. And I realize Sony has their version of this lens, but before this lens, the best zoom lens in this focal range would maybe give you 70% the quality of a prime lens, probably not even that. I've been through phases with zooms and primes. For a good long while there, I shot almost everything on a 24-70 2.8 L. This lens blows that lens away. I always try to tweak and improve my workflow, especially when I'm out shooting. Reducing the amount of gear I have to bring is a huge advantage. But yes, that requires giving something up. It's always just a question of finding a compromise that you can live with. You'll lose something, you'll gain something else. And the ideal mixture of gaining versus losing is going to be extremely personal. So if you're not already interested in this lens, good, keep it that way. If you are, and you're hoping this will give you super shallow depth of field or amazing low light performance, while shedding the inherent limitations of prime lenses, no, it won't. It's a great lens by the standard of zoom lenses. It's mediocre by the standards of prime lenses. If you're coming at this from a practical perspective, you just need the best possible version of the most versatile lens in the Canon RF system, then yes, this is that lens. This is a perfect match for your needs. So, there you have it.